Yellowstone's Beth and Rip spinoff encounters its first big problem. Beth and Rip's love story will continue in a spinoff after the Yellowstone Season 5 finale. But a potential legal battle already poses hurdles to its development. It may take some time to introduce the latest addition to Taylor Sheridan's neo-Western universe to audiences. Beth and Rip have a promising Yellowstone spin-off story after the Season 5 finale. The couple bought a ranch in Dillon, Montana, after Case sold the Yellowstone Dutton Ranch to the Broken Rock tribe, restoring the land to Montana's indigenous people. While Yellowstone audiences had mixed reactions to the Yellowstone Season 5 finale, considering its circumstances, it was largely acceptable. Case and Monica returned to their home at East Camp, which Thomas Rainwater deeds back to the sixth-generation Dutton and his family. It also laid the groundwork for their following chapters. Case, Beth, and the cowboys bid farewell to John Dutton IE, with his daughter promising, and succeeding, to avenge his death. Which stories will continue is unclear, except for Beth and Rip's thus far. So hopefully their story doesn't experience the same lag as Yellowstone Season 5, Part 2. A report just days before the Yellowstone Season 5 finale announced a Yellowstone spinoff starring Beth and Rip. The report confirmed that Kelly Riley and Cole Hauser would continue their characters, respectively. The series will reportedly share the most DNA with the flagship Yellowstone series. It occurs in the present day, adjacent to Yellowstone, and the developing spinoff starring Michelle Pfeiffer called The Madison, which shifts the focus away from the Dutton family. While rumors existed that Beth and Rip would continue the saga with Yellowstone Season 6, the report further muddled the clarity of the franchise's continuation. Following the Yellowstone Season 5 conclusion, the picture of Beth and Rip's story is more explicit. After her brother decides to sell the ranch, the couple's story will continue on Beth and Rip's ranch in Dillon, Montana. Beth bought the ranch, where her husband could continue life as a ranch foreman and cowboy, and where Beth could get away from the noise. Following flashbacks in Yellowstone Season 5, Episode 10, it looked like Beth and Rip's story could continue in Texas. But the finale confirmed the Montanans would instead plant roots in a remote area of their home state. While the potential for Beth and Rip's spin-off story creates exciting new possibilities, its development creates legal hurdles for the networks with stakes in distributing the Yellowstone stories. In the report, sources reported that while another Yellowstone season wasn't out of the question, production elements of Beth and Rip's story were more appealing. Namely, creating a series independent of the mothership would allow Paramount Network's parent, Paramount Global, to keep the show within the company's network. In contrast, Yellowstone has a pre-existing streaming deal with Peacock, barring Paramount Network from streaming Kevin Costner's series on Paramount+. A new report from Puck confirms that the debate between Yellowstone Season 6 and Beth and Rip's spinoff could trigger a legal battle with Peacock. Ultimately, legal battles will come down to whether Beth and Rip's show can distinguish itself from Yellowstone Season 6 to prove that it isn't just a continuation of the main show. Confirmed developments about the series suggest proving clear differentiation might be difficult for Paramount Network. Beth and Rip's show will include other original Yellowstone main characters and use the Yellowstone series name in the title. Still, Paramount could pivot to avoid a legal battle. The Puck report suggested that Peacock's parent, NBC Universal, would fight Paramount if they claimed exclusive rights for Paramount Plus to stream Beth and Rip's show, barring Peacock from doing the same. While NBCU has yet to take legal action, potential battles could tie up the Beth and Rip spinoff's development, stalling it at one of the earliest stages. Therefore, audiences may have to wait a while before seeing more of Beth and Rip's ranch in Dillon, Montana, since a battle for streaming rights between Paramount Plus and Peacock would prevent the show from establishing a strong creative direction, delaying its production considering Yellowstone Season 5. Part 2 faced significant production delays. Further challenges decrease the likelihood that any follow-ups will have a quick turnaround. Therefore, it could be years before we see what happens at Beth and Rip's remote new home. The couple opted to bring Carter to Dylan. Their unofficially adopted son is still an adolescent, and any growth spurts Carter actor Finn Little must align with Beth and Rip's timeline. Thus, potential legal battles will push Beth and Rip's story further into the future, upping the stakes for what comes next for the Yellowstone power couple. The roar of a black stallion echoed across the Montana plains, signaling a fresh chapter for Beth Dutton and Rip Wheeler. In the Yellowstone universe, their story, raw, unyielding, and deeply passionate, had captured audiences worldwide. But now, with the announcement of their standalone spinoff, Iron Will, a fierce problem loomed large on the horizon. The premise was simple yet magnetic. Iron Will was set to delve deeper into Beth and Rip's life after leaving the Yellowstone Ranch. Having secured their dream property, the series promised a mix of family drama, frontier justice, and the duo's trademark intensity. The excitement was palpable, but the production encountered an unexpected obstacle that threatened to derail the entire show: creative vision. Beth Dutton had always been an unstoppable force. She carried herself with a mix of feral confidence and razor-sharp intellect. Kelly Riley, who brought Beth to life, felt immense pressure to maintain the integrity of the character. Riley's vision leaned toward a gritty, uncompromising portrayal of Beth's evolution. She wanted the spinoff to explore Beth's internal struggles, particularly her desire to heal from years of trauma and her fear of vulnerability. Rip's steady presence would be her anchor, but their relationship would not be without its trials. Cole Causer, equally invested in Rip's legacy, had a different perspective. He saw Rip as the protector who would bring stability to their chaotic world. For Hauser, Iron Will needed to focus on Rip's journey as a provider and leader. His pitch involved more action sequences, chases on horseback, high-stakes confrontations with neighboring ranchers, and Rip's deepening bond with their newly adopted son, Finn. At first, these creative differences seemed manageable, but as scripts for the pilot were finalized, tensions escalated. Rayleigh found the drafts too action-heavy, arguing they reduced Beth to a supporting role in her own story. Meanwhile, Hauser felt the scripts lacked the urgency and dynamism that made Yellowstone so compelling. Showrunner Morgan Hayes found herself caught in the crossfire. She was a longtime fan of the original series and thrilled to lead this new chapter. But balancing the two actors' expectations with the studio's demands for commercial appeal was a Herculean task. Hayes envisioned Iron Will as a slow-burn drama, where quiet moments carried as much weight as explosive confrontations. But network executives wanted blockbuster ratings, and for them, that meant more guns, more drama, and less nuance. The breaking point came during a table read of Episode 3. The scene involved Beth confronting a corrupt banker who had swindled their small community. Written as a dialogue-heady standoff, the script highlighted Beth's ruthless intellect. But the network's edits turned the scene into a physical altercation, complete with gunfire and shattered windows. Riley refused to read the new lines, slamming the script onto the table. Beth isn't a cartoon character, she argued. She's a warrior, but her battles are waged with words, not just fists. If we strip her of that, we've lost everything that makes her unique. Hauser's response was more tempered, but no less pointed. Action doesn't mean losing depth. Rip can handle a fight, but he's also a man of principles. We need balance, not compromise. The clash spilled into the press. Rumors of creative disputes leaked, sparking fan debates on social media. Some sided with Rayleigh, praising her dedication to Beth's complexity. Others backed Hauser, eager for more adrenaline-fueled storylines. The controversy generated buzz, but it also cast a shadow over the production. Meanwhile, on set, the tension seeped into the crew's work. Directors struggled to find the right tone for scenes, unsure whether to lean into quiet character moments or amp up the spectacle. Cinematographers were caught between moody, intimate shots and sweeping action sequences. Even costume designers felt the strain, as debates over Beth's wardrobe symbolized deeper disagreements about her arc. Was she evolving into a more subdued figure, or should she retain her bold, unapologetic style? The studio called an emergency summit to address the impasse. Attendees included Rayleigh, Hauser, Hayes, and several executives. Over 2 grueling days, they hashed out their differences, really advocated for scenes that showcased Beth's emotional depth, such as her struggles to connect with Finn and her attempts to build a new community. Hauser championed sequences where Rip's quiet heroism shone, from rescuing stranded cattle to facing off against a dangerous rival.